It's Al and Yolanda. You got to be more careful.
#8121 Talk, Season 4, Episode 2.
Episode 2.
What up, baby?
What's up?
What up? You know, we've been talking this week.
Mm-hmm.
We've been thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you know who's a friend?
I like to think I do.
You like to think you do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this episode, we're going to go over, you know, what we think is a friend, and we're going to define what Webster or whatever dictionary there is out there.
Oxford.
We're going to define actually what a friend is and compare it with what we think.
Okay.
We're going to have a real show tonight. A little different from the way that most of the show's been going down. Do everything with our heart and do it good. We'll be recording live tonight.
It's the moment that all of you've been waiting for. It's the moment that all of you've been waiting for.
I guess I will start off by saying, in your own way, you give what you think a friend is,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll give a definition, a definitive, you know, from Oxford, let's say from
Mm-hmm.
Oxford. What do you think a friend is?
Someone that you can be yourself with and has your back
It has your back.
and wants the best for you.
See, with me, and it's great that you said it like that, because with me, I think a friend is what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
and also adding on someone you share history with. Time is key.
Okay.
Along with what you said.
Okay. We're going to go into that.
We'll do that. We can rock with that.
Yeah.
Now, the definition
Mm-hmm.
from the dictionary is a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond
Mm-hmm.
in history.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Okay.
That's close?
Yeah.
It's close. A person whom one knows, they have a bond with them in history.
Mm-hmm.
I've always spoken to people or listened to people talk, and there's always a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that, based on what we just said, they use the word friends with acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
To you, what is an acquaintance?
Someone that you know, but not on a personal level.
Right. So a coworker could be an acquaintance.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Somebody that you see at the gym, they could be an acquaintance,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not a friend.
Right.
Now, people say things like best friend,
Mm-hmm.
close friend.
Mm-hmm.
What's another one? Yeah, those are the two main ones.
Mhm.
Best friend, close friend. When you are friends with someone, what takes it to, in your opinion, what takes it to the best friend level? Because you got other friends, but what takes it to a best friend?
The one that you spend the most time with.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. And what makes them a close friend? Because it's also another level.
Yeah. I mean,
Compared to just a friend.
a close friend
Mm-hmm.
is probably someone that you would hang out with, invite them into your personal space.
Mm-hmm.
But a best friend is someone that when you invite them to your personal space, you only invite them that one time. Because after that,
After that, what?
it's home. It's home for them.
Okay. I
It's
follow
their
you.
second home.
I
You
got
know
a
what I'm
little
saying?
lost for a second.
Yeah, it's their second home.
So you said they your best friend is like your right hand,
Mm-hmm.
right? And basically, is it because that y'all may have similar thoughts and similar ideals and things of that nature?
I don't know if it's similar,
Uh-huh.
but I think you share the same values.
Values.
Mm-hmm.
So would it be even to say, or would it be cool to say, You guys are evenly yoked.
Yeah.
Evenly yoked.
Mm-hmm.
A close friend, about the same as a best friend?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
And then before we move on, the next one might be just friend,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you got friend, you got close friend, and you got best friend,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a difference within the field, within that friend category.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I want to know what you think on that before I move on.
Oh, okay. A friend. So a friend would be someone like, like someone that you work with, right? We say that that's an acquaintance, but you might share a little bit more personal things with them at, just a little bit, right? And their friend, you might go out to lunch or something,
right,
or what have you,
right.
A close friend, like I said, is someone that you invite into your personal space. You might introduce them to your family, what have you.
Okay.
And then that best friend. So when I think of best friends, I think of my girl Michelle. When we was at Hood and Korea and Bragg together, like I would go over to Michelle's house and we'll both end up sleep on her couch.
Right.
We're not talking about anything. We might try to watch TV, but we would go sleep.
Yeah.
We'll both be asleep. And then one of us will wake up and be like, oh, shoot, and I'm like, oh, girl, let me go home. Something like that.
Yeah.
That's that best friend where
it's a comfortability.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
You're comfortable.
Yeah.
With me, I always say a best friend is someone that you can deal with that a lot of things are unsaid. They just know.
Yeah, unsaid. And then the best friend is someone that has your back. So when you talk to them, they don't judge you. They don't condemn you, anything like that. They support you, but they're going to tell you, I don't think you're right.
They keep it real with you.
I don't think you're right, but okay, you my girl, so I got you.
Yeah. Now, can you get that from a friend?
You can, but I don't think you always get that from a friend because for some reason, I think just friends and even close friends, I don't know if I'm going to say try to please you or they don't care enough about you to tell you the truth because they tell you what you want to hear instead of telling you what you need to hear.
They don't care as much as a best friend.
Right. And I think a best friend would tell you what you need to hear. And be like, I don't care if you got attitude with me. I'm going to tell you about yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
What have you?
So now that we've established friend and the 3 levels of friends, right? Let's talk about acquaintances.
Okay.
Are they the same as a friend?
No.
So let me define it.
Okay.
Right? It's a person one knows slightly, but not a close friend. You know them. Hey, what's up? You talk and whatever, but they're not a friend like that.
Right. It's like most of your classmates.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just saying, classmates. You have some that are your friends, but then you have ones that you see every day at school or 5 days a week at school, but you don't really know them.
Okay.
But if somebody say, hey, so-and-so, they went to school with us, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember seeing them around, but I didn't really talk to them.
Or some you might go, I don't know them. We went to the same school.
Exactly.
I'm being funny.
Exactly. But an acquaintance, that would be an acquaintance, somebody you know. Or for being in the military. Yeah, they in my company, but I don't really know them.
Yeah, you don't
know
really
what I'm saying?
know them.
I don't really know them.
You have a common interest, which may be a job.
Or we in the same battalion or what have you, but I don't really know them.
Yeah, you got a common interest, which may be a job. It may be a activity, same basketball
right,
team.
So you know them when you see them.
Right, you know when you see them, but you're not
And
really,
you even might talk to them every once in a while. But
Right. Well, okay. Well, let's move on to the next one. I don't think it's much defining or you don't have to get into we don't have to get into what acquaintances are. It's obvious. Well, we hope it's obvious. The next level. We already touched friends. We already touched acquaintances, right? Let's talk about the word cordial. And cordial, because you have a cordiality with somebody, a situation. Does that make them an acquaintance?
Well, yeah, it makes them an acquaintance, but it don't make them a friend.
It don't make them a friend.
And then cordial is just having manners, I say.
Yeah, it's an act.
You know?
Right.
You walk in the office, walk in the building, the lobby is full. It's your office space. You speak to the people, hey, how everybody doing? You know, what have you?
Yeah. In my experience, I've seen people that you were cordial with and they assumed that you were acquaintance.
Or, well, I can see an acquaintance, but some people assume that you're their friends.
I was going there next.
Yeah.
They assume that you're an acquaintance. Because I've had people that I'm cordial with, but I don't really know you. It's just common courtesy. You get the same thing everybody else get. How you doing?
Right.
I'm peculiar. See, I don't know about you, but well, you do know. Well, I don't like the small talk.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people confuse small talk with you actually give a fuck. Sorry, but it has to come out like that. Like you actually care. It's nothing mean or what's my word I like to use? Malicious. It's not that. It's when I walk into a room, I actually feel like I need to say for the environment, how you doing?
Right. But you do care. Well, I don't know about you, but I care.
I care in a general sense.
Okay,
but not enough to entangle my life with it.
Oh, yeah.
If that makes sense, right? So, but some people, you can come in every day and say, hey, how you doing?
Right.
And then they might say, oh man, it's been tough, man. I had to do this last night. My kids, blah, 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 blah. And you being cordial, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but while you're saying to yourself, I didn't ask you all that. I don't remember asking
you all that. And it's not malicious. It's just that you got your own thing going.
Right.
You know, so cordial, I like to look at it as an act. Would you stop touching things while we doing this? What are you doing? I like to look at being cordial as an act. I think everyone should be cordial. I think that because how we move in life, right? You will have acquaintances.
Right. When you say an act, you mean like you're pretending or an act as in action?
No, like in action.
Okay.
Right. I don't mean act like that's kind of fake.
Right. Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it's an action. It's etiquette. It's whatever you want.
Manners. Yeah.
Manners. This is how you doing. But I don't mean I want to hang out with you and stuff like that, you know?
Right.
But yeah, so we got the act of being cordial and we have acquaintances and we have friends. Now, I got something I want to ask you. How does a friend become an acquaintance? And how does an acquaintance?
Wait, what is an acquaintance?
Acquaintant?
Oh, okay.
What?
I don't know. That just don't sound right to me, but maybe I'm slow.
Okay. How does a friend get downgraded to acquaintances?
Get downgraded to one?
Yeah. And how does acquaintances get downgraded to we're just cordial?
I mean, downgraded.
So you have a friend.
Right, but is downgraded the right word for it? It could be that.
Well, in my world, it's absolutely the right word, but what word.
I mean, maybe you have a disagreement, or maybe one person is moving on and the other person is still stuck in whatever, you know, like with, I'm going to use the example of being young. You know, when you're young, you be doing silly things or you immature things. You going out to the club all the time, drinking, what have you. And then maybe as you get older and grow, you say, okay, well,
you grow apart.
I'm not into that club scene no more, but the other person still wants to be there. So now you're like, hey, we can't hang like that because that's not where I'm at in life. I'm trying to get, to move on. Right. And, and so now that person was a friend, but now they just an acquaintance. You speak to them every once in a while. And
because of the friendship you had with them, you might not be as blunt with the downgrade. That's where it get tricky after me. Like you
drift apart, but then that's when I always think stuff like that with that poem. I don't know if you are familiar with it about people being in your life for a lifetime, a season, and a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because sometimes, I mean, everybody that you become friends with isn't meant to be in your life forever. They're not a lifetime person.
Right.
They might be a seasonal person. And then some of them might be a reason. The two people might have crossed paths and joined up for one specific reason. And once that reason has been accomplished or whatever, then you drift apart, and it's no fault of either one of them. It's just, it's over,
Right.
you know?
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
I got a lot of questions.
Okay.
So how likely is it to go from best friend to acquaintance? Or would it go, as we were talking about earlier, best friend, close friend, friend, then acquaintance?
I don't know if you go down from a best friend. Because with being in the military and you PCS, you make friends, you PCS,
What's PCS?
whatever, permit change of station,
Okay.
you leave the duty station, you don't see that person on a regular basis. But then there are some people who are your friends that it does not matter how long it's been since you've spoken to that person.
Best friend or friend?
Best friend, whichever one.
You don't think best friends have to have something that bonds them, like experiences that they experience together and around each other all the time?
Mhm.
Like I can see you being best friend
Mm-hmm.
when you have these common interests that's keeping y'all together. But then now you don't have those. Say you have a friend that lives in South Carolina
Mm-hmm.
and then you live in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
You're still friends, but time and space has moved y'all.
But if you're best friends, then you should continue to be best friends, because
Should is a
if you're
functioning word.
best friends, then you will make the effort to still spend time with each other, even if you only see each other twice a year.
Should.
You
yeah.
should do that. And then you don't even have to see each other. You should still continue to talk on the phone or communicate, what have you. But then you do have those people who, like I said, it doesn't matter if you spoke to them yesterday or 10 years ago. When the next time you talk to them, you just pick up where you left off.
Right. But then there's also those type where out of sight, out of mind.
But then you have to ask yourself, were they
Were
really
you
your
ever
best
really
friend?
best friends? Right.
I mean, because you can't give a best friend title out to anybody.
Right.
I mean, I'm serious.
A lot of people do, but yeah, I've met people where they have 10 best friends. How is that possible?
I don't know. I don't think you can give the title out to just anybody. I think it's possible to have maybe more than one best friend
Mhm.
because different people bring different things into your life, right? But I don't see you having 10 best friends because
And see where it gets difficult at. Let's say you got two best friends,
Mhm.
one on your left, one on your right.
Mhm.
Where it gets difficult at is, do those two best friends get along?
Yeah, sometimes they
It
don't.
get tough.
Well, sometimes they do, but those two aren't as close with each other as they are with you. Because sometimes it's like the only reason why those two are friends is because you're the common denominator.
Right.
But then you also sometimes have a group of friends that actually are that close with each other. And that friendship continues to flourish between the three of you or the four of you
Right.
for the rest of your life.
Right. But no two people are equal. So within the three friends, you got two best friends. But within you three, you might be closer to the friend on the right than the one on the left. But you're saying they're best friends. But you can't be evenly yoked with all two on each side, can you?
I think so. I think there
okay.
are some, but I mean, it's a case by case basis. I think,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah.
So some of the things I was writing down
Mhm.
when I asked you the question, I'm going to keep using the word downgrade,
Mhm.
right? Some of the things I wrote down about friendships changing. Number one on my list was disagreements.
Mhm.
Number two, have you ever been with someone and you're so drunk on friend? They there for you, they doing all this. And then all of a sudden you notice, you start paying attention. Like they're consistently doing actions and stuff that you really don't, that's really not you.
Mhm.
Toxic things, they are good to you.
Mhm.
Right. But then you start knowing that, like you start seeing that they deal with other people and you're like, I don't really agree with that. You ever been in that situation before? Because that's number two on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the next one I had was growing apart, which you touched.
Mm-hmm.
You hit that right on the head. And then the final one was different ideals.
Mm-hmm.
Different ideals and values in life.
Okay, I was going to say different ideals. I mean, everybody's not the same, so you will have
Ideals?
different. Come on, you know what I'm trying to say. Why you gotta call me out like that?
I'm not saying ideas. I'm saying ideals. Values.
Okay.
Right. But that's, those things I thought about and I said, wow, because I'm always thinking about stuff like that.
But what about the relationship change or downgrades, as you say, because you're not being a friend?
Then I am guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm guilty of that. But when you say not being a friend, that's great that you just said that,
Mm-hmm.
because that would go into the next category. Not being a friend. And I take this from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Unevenly yoked.
Mm-hmm.
I take more than I give.
Right.
Or, yeah.
But it should be this evenly.
Right.
So if you expect your friend to be there for you,
you should be there.
You
for
should
them.
be there for them.
But if you're unevenly yoked,
Right.
eventually it's going to be a weight on someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the time, you. Even in conversations,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm talking to you and you always talking about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you never have an ear or room for me to get off what I'm getting off.
And then you have to question yourself and ask yourself, is that person really my friend? Or am I fulfilling a need in their life? And when that need has been fulfilled, they don't need me. And so they don't even call or what have you. So is that really your friend?
Right. And that's what I meant about you start over time. It doesn't happen overnight. You start to pay attention to actions.
Right.
Consistent actions. It's like, wait a minute. Because sometimes you can be in love with somebody. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about in a platonic way.
Mm-hmm.
You could be in love with somebody and you overlook things.
Right. But I always hear people say, how am I trying to say it?
Mm-hmm.
Basically it's saying that, if you're my friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know that I don't really mess with this person, then you don't need to be messing with that person either.
Right.
And I agree with that a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't say because you're my friend, you can't talk to somebody. But what I do know is that I better not be the topic of discussion.
Right. Let's
when you are talking. And then if I am, or if they bring me up, then you should shut that down and be like, you know what, that's my girl. You keep that to yourself.
Let's go a little deeper with that. And I'll throw a scenario out there. You tell me what you think. Me and you are best friends, right? Me and you are close friends. Me and you are friends, right? Those three categories. There's someone on my other side. You don't like them. Y'all have had disagreements, your ideals, yet you just don't like them. How they carry themselves, hood rat, ghetto, whatever you want to say. Now, it would be unfair of you to tell me not to be cordial.
It would be unfair of me to ask you not to even talk to them.
Right. That's not being cordial.
Right.
Now, let's say we have a common interest and we work together, right? That person, because of the job and the atmosphere, we could be acquaintances. But are you? Because I agree with what you're saying. It depends, right? That other person can't be your best friend.
No.
You follow what I'm saying?
I think so.
You don't get along with this other person, right?
Yeah.
They can't be my best friend while I'm your best friend. Because if I'm yoked with you like that, I feel what you feel. And if our ideals align and I know what bothers you, why am I taking on this person as a best friend?
That gets sticky though, because you might have knew that person before you knew me.
See, we adding things onto it. I'm just giving you this right here.
But I don't know. With that, I'm just saying that if you are friends with somebody that I don't like, what have you, you can be friends with that person.
I say acquaintances.
Okay. Well, you said they couldn't be your best friend, but they can be your friend. But I'm just saying, like I said before, I better not be a topic of conversation.
Let me give you a scenario. Let me push this along then. You're my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You said they could be my friend, right? And we defined at the beginning, best, close, and friend, right? You come to the house, my best friend, but I got this other one that you don't like, but they're my close friend. And we sitting there watching a movie. How would you feel?
I'll probably feel some type of way.
Okay. This is what I'm touching on.
Yeah.
Right. So it's levels to this.
Right. But I can't be like, oh, because I'm possessive with my friends. But I can't be like,
I'm sorry to cut you off. And you just said, I can't be like, oh, whatever I'm doing on this side of me is causing you to think. And if it's causing you to think, am I being your best friend? That's where it get tricky at.
I don't know, but then I can't be selfish because if I'm your friend, then I can't be like, oh, I want you to be my friend, only my friend, and not deal with nobody else. That's not right.
Let's keep going. I got an answer for all that.
Okay.
We just talked about being evenly yoked. You said you can't be selfish. You're
right.
True. I can't be either. Because if I know I'm doing something that's causing a little discomfort in you, I got to come to you and I got to fix it. I got to do something about it.
Right. But I just can't, I can't just be like, oh, you're only my friend though. You know what I'm saying?
You can't be that to who?
To you. If you and I are best friends and you have other friends, I can't be like, oh, you can only be my friend and you can't be their friends. That's not right.
Which is why I added what I added. If that friend on the other side of me, let's just keep it down the middle. Stop trying to sound like we got some sense. If that friend on the other side of you is an asshole to you, right?
But then I expect you to step in and be like,
you just mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah.
They don't talk about you to me.
Right.
Right? And so forth and so forth. You don't know if these things are happening. So you sit on the other side going, is that what's going on?
Right.
Because I'm never saying anything to you.
But then that's where you at fault, because if you my friend, you're not gonna, I'm your best friend, you're not gonna let this other friend be mean to me or disrespectful or what have you, because then you're supposed to step in and be like, look.
Disrespectful being an action, mean being an action also, but also using, words. You know how people are petty and they doing little things. But how about this one? They don't say anything bad about you. They don't do anything bad towards you, straight towards you, but they fully get that they're going to take more of my time when it comes to certain things, which would get under your skin.
But then my problem is not with them. Then my problem is with you, because I'd be like, look, we best friends. You know me. You know how I get down. You know how I feel. So then you need to check yourself. So what you doing?
I got you. I think, if anyone's listening right now, I think some people will kind of understand where I'm going with it. It's like, sometimes you got to choose.
Sometimes you do got to choose.
Sometimes you do. And that varies on the severity of the situation. Sometimes you got to choose. You can't be everybody's friend.
You cannot be everybody. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
You cannot be everybody's friend. I learned that the hard way. And each person has to bring something to the relationship.
Right.
So if they're not bringing anything to the relationship, if you have a friend that's always negative, don't want to do anything, and then shoot you down every time you try and do something, tell you, oh, that's not going to work. Oh, girl, I don't even know why you're doing that.
Yeah.
That's cute or whatever,
Yeah. See, before I get on to the end, so we close this out, right? I consider you and I consider myself empaths. So when we have friends, we're there. I hear everything you're saying. You're having a tough time. I hear it all. So I have to be limited with who I share my empathic abilities with.
Right. And that's another thing I learned the hard way. Because it takes a toll on you.
Oh,
yeah. It takes a toll on you.
Now, when I tell people this, usually people look at me and they turn their head sideways like a dog. And I know I've told you before, you remember when I say it. You got 5 friends. They all come to you within one day, and one says, my dog just died. One said, my cat just died. One said, my mother died.
Mm-hmm.
One says my father died.
Mhm.
And one says I'm getting evicted.
Mm-hmm.
If you that close of a friend, you feeling
All of that.
All of that.
Yeah.
And action comes into place. What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
With the died, you can't bring them back, but you can give them your time. Make sure they're
Mhm.
never
Mhm.
alone and da. And as far as the one that's getting evicted, you might want to reach in your pocket and help them.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. But what I am saying is when there's 5, and I'm just giving that number, when there's 5 and you trying to be friends with everybody,
Yeah.
it can take its toll.
It'll take its
on you.
toll. And then I don't think you can be an effective friend to all of them.
Bingo.
Because you don't have that much to go around.
You just say that again.
You don't have that much
For
to
the
go
people
around.
in the back. One more time.
You don't have that much
Much
to go around. Somebody gonna come up short.
Somebody gonna come up short.
And then you're gonna feel bad about that.
That's the life of an Aquarius empath.
Right.
You're an Aquarius empath. How you doing?
I'm good.
How you doing? You an Aquarius empath? I'm an
Mhm.
Aquarius. No, I was introducing myself. to you.
Oh.
You like, I'm good. You somewhere else.
No, you said how you doing, so I was saying
Yeah,
I'm
but
good.
I raised my hand. I said, hey, how you doing? Yeah. So, being Aquarius empath, sometimes that can be tough. But let's close it out with this. When do you let go?
That's hard.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
Let me read what I have,
Okay.
and then you chime in.
Okay.
Some of the common signs to know when it's time to move on is when you're not a priority. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, you may notice that your friend doesn't make an effort towards you to be
Mhm.
around you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't connect at the same level.
Mm-hmm.
Friendships work best when people are the same. They have the same connection.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying you can't have a friend that's opposite,
Mm-hmm.
but it sure helps when you have a connection.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
If it's not there, maybe time to move on.
Right.
In a situation where, which we already touched, you give more than you take. At times, it's understood that one person might need a little bit more,
Right.
but somehow they got to balance it out down the line.
Yeah.
And for me, when these things go haywire, and what I just mentioned,
Mhm.
these are some of the things that make you say,
Yeah. Might be time.
time to
loose.
move on.
Yeah.
And then there's some pet peeves that I have personally.
Okay.
You ever had you ever been around somebody that's always angry?
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to be friends with someone when they're always angry,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you listen to the amount of venom that
Mhm.
comes from when they're angry. Is you have to say, do they say that about me?
Exactly.
When I don't do what they want them to
Right.
do, or respond the way they want me to respond?
Right.
What do you think? Is that viable?
I just think it's draining.
It's draining.
It's draining because you have to tiptoe around their feelings.
Mhm.
Like, you have to be careful of what you say because you don't want them to be angry with you because that's your friend, right?
Right.
So you don't
right.
want them to be angry with you, but then it's like you trying to, I don't know, make them feel less angry.
I don't even
And
know
then
a
you're
word.
like, how do I do that?
I don't even know a word for
And
that.
then how do you balance out? Because they're always angry and fussing and whatever. And then you're sitting there like,
You're in a great mood. You're sitting in the house, answer the phone, boom, they mad about something. And what's even crazier about it is you might have an answer for them,
mm-hmm.
but they're so...
Right, but they don't want to hear it.
they don't wanna
So
hear it.
I'm going to tell you, I'm the type of person that if I have told you, you asked me for my opinion and
Mhm.
I've given it to you,
Mhm.
but then you still do the same old, and then you
Mhm.
come back to me with the same story over and over and over again,
Mhm.
it's going to get to the point where I'm like,
Time to go.
I'm why should I even say anything?
Time to go.
Because why should I sit over here and rack my brain and think about how to give you something that I know because I know you, how to give you something that you can handle and it's going to work for you to help you get better or to
Right,
move out of
right.
that angry space.
Right. But speaking, the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
I heard someone said that if the outcome is always the same, the why doesn't matter.
Okay.
If you've been doing the same thing and it's always the same, you stop becoming a friend and the why doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
All I know is you're making me feel uncomfortable.
Right.
This ain't fun for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's my pet peeve. Like when people are just angry and just angry about stuff. Angry at life and angry at everything. I can't enjoy a conversation with you. Do you have a pet peeve before we get out of here? Like
Negativity.
okay. Expand on that a little bit.
Someone that's always negative, you know. I guess some people say, I'm being a realist, but if you're always thinking negative thoughts, how are you going to go anywhere in life? And someone who's totally comfortable with being in the same spot. I always say stagnant water carries diseases. So if you're stagnant in life and you don't want to do nothing better to better yourself, then I'm like, Let me ask, you said stagnant.
I'm curious. What about mental stagnance? They're doing the same thing over and over.
But if they have a mental problem, then that's one thing. But someone that, I don't know, because everybody handles mental stuff differently. But I'm just talking about someone who is happy to be in the same spot. I'm gonna use like being on welfare.
Okay.
Some women will have children just to make their welfare go up. And they will stay on welfare for their whole entire lives.
Right.
The ones that say, I ain't gonna get no job because if I get a job, I'm gonna lose my welfare.
Right.
And as long as I can get my welfare, I'm good. I got somewhere to live. I got money coming in. I got my food stamps. And they're not trying to move out of that situation, not trying to do better.
Well, see, I equate that with, usually it starts off in being stagnant in the mental and it leads into the physical. Right?
Okay.
So, one of my pet peeves, and we're gonna do some clapping after this, and we're gonna get out of here.
Okay.
Let's take DJing.
Oh my goodness.
It's an art form.
It is.
And there are various techniques in DJing. There are various techniques. Right? So I think it's insulting to my intelligence to look at a person, nobody in particular, but if you were, it's kind of tough, Transformer scratch. If you was doing that in 1985, and we've been friends since 1985, and I'm looking at you in 2024, and you're still transforming. My question has always been, how do you help me get better? If you're not pushing yourself, you damn sure ain't gonna push me.
Right.
Stagnation.
Right.
Along with a lack of humility. And they're sitting there, we're supposed to be friends, and they're wearing that mask and they're, I don't know how to explain it. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. But we know each other. You're not.
Right.
Maybe if you humble yourself. You follow what I'm saying? I'm going off the path. Anything you want to add to it?
No, I'm good.
8121, season 4, episode 2 is in the books.
There we go.
Do you know what a friend is now?
It's Alan Elandi. Got to be more careful.